This week in Techstars, I wear yet another cool startup t-shirt. We're going to meet Jason Baptiste, the CEO and founder of OnSwipe, as well as Claire Tischer, who is running the Twitters and the blog and Facebook and everything else. That's now This Week in Techstars. Just another crazy week here at Techstars. It's This Week in Techstars. I'm David Cohen, the founder and CEO of Techstars. Thanks for checking it out. Joined in the studio by Michael Sidorzeski. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Callisto FM is your business, which is awesome and rocking.
It is. More on that soon.
We're going to hear a lot more about that. Yeah. We can't disclose all the secrets of Callisto just yet.
Correct.
I've been sworn to secrecy.
You have.
But people are going to be excited about it. I was at the Mass TLC conference in Boston. Which is a big unconference that they have in Boston. I went on the red eye Thursday night, 11 o'clock flight, got in at 5 a.m. and somehow stayed awake for a bunch of meetings with great entrepreneurs in Boston. There's always so much cool stuff going on there.
And you ran into anybody?
I did see Mr. Calacanis, who does a little show called This Week in Startups, among other things. And I told him I was going to mention that, and that maybe he should mention This Week in...
Reciprocate.
Yeah, that's, what do they call that?
Yeah.
Reciprocal advertising?
Correct.
So hopefully Jason will figure out how to mention our show on his show. Get a little more cross-promotion going. He did an awesome session at the Unconference. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was basically the startup confessional. And he had the whole crowd saying amens, you know, the user is the one true God. I mean, he was really on fire. It was a lot of fun. That was a great conference. Bill Warner runs it. Flew back that night, so it was a really quick trip for me. I am leaving tomorrow to go to Seattle's demo day, so we'll talk about that next week. Yep. But we just opened up 100 tickets, so anybody that's in Seattle in the community that wants to come, we have 100 tickets to come see demo day, so that's sort of new and interesting in Seattle.
I'm sure that's been tweeted, right?
Yeah, you can learn about that on the Techstars Twitter stream. So that demo day has, I believe there's 10 companies and lots of early progress with financing and business progress. So we're excited about the group in Seattle. What else we have coming up? Techstars for a Day Cloud Edition. And so what's unique about this is it's the Techstars Cloud program, which focuses on API, cloud infrastructure companies. We are doing Techstars for a Day. People could still come to that if they've applied to Techstars. You can also attend it virtually. It's the first time we're doing that. So again, watch the Twitter stream and the blog. We're gonna have details on how to tune in. That is when that's coming up on the 7th, I believe, of November. The 5th, Claire's telling me the 5th. November 5th, so you'll be able to read about that on blog, join in. Let's see, Katie Ray is gonna be in London. Katie runs our Boston program. She's there on the 6th of November. So anybody in London that wants to check out Techstars, there'll be a meetup there. You can learn about that on the Twitters as well. Let's see, other news on the board here. San Francisco. We've got a meetup in San Francisco as well on November 15th. Katie and Aaron will be out there, and we'll have some of our companies there for people in San Francisco that want to learn a bit more about Techstars.
Any idea what day that is?
That is the 15th. I don't know the day of the week.
Okay.
November 15th. I could guess, but if I was wrong, it would be really awkward.
Yeah. And recorded.
That's right. Las Vegas, we have the reunion of Techstars. We're going to have a portion of that if you're in Vegas or in the area. We're probably going to have 80 or 90 of our companies there. Sometime on the 10th of December, we're going to have a happy hour to let the community come and hang out with all of our companies.
So how did you choose Vegas?
You know, I don't know. It just seemed like a reasonable place to have a reunion, a get-together, if you will. The companies all seem to be excited about it. You know, rooms are pretty cheap in December. I don't know. It just works. People seem to like it.
I've heard nothing negative so far.
You know,
so yeah.
I'm sure there'll be, I don't know, people might go a little crazy. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how they behave. What's the other news? Oh, the Orbotics ball. Orbotics is the robotic ball controlled by the smartphone.
Yes.
Go Sphero.
Who doesn't want robotic balls?
No, you have to have them in this day and age. So the holidays are coming up, and you can get your Sphero ball from Orbotics. Just go to orbotics.com or gosphero.com.
This is the first time they've actually been available to the public.
You can actually buy it, and it'll actually ship to you, and you can use it. So we're all really excited to be playing with our robotic balls. Techstars company from a couple years back is doing really well. We're happy to have Jason Baptiste joining us via Skype from New York. Jason is the founder and CEO of OnSwipe. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thanks for having me, Dave. How you doing?
We're doing good, man. We want to talk a little bit about your background. So pre-Techstars, You've been an entrepreneur for a while. You've done a couple companies, I think, if I remember right. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
And also been a big part of On Startups, which is Dharmesh's blog site, news site. Tell us a little bit about your work with On Startups.
Yeah. So a lot of the genesis of OnSwipe actually started with my writing. I was doing it on my own. That was getting some popularity, and then teamed up with Dharmesh. We both loved writing about entrepreneurship. It was pure passion, not for profit. And he said, hey, do you want to come co-author the thing with me? And I started doing that. And actually, from all the writing, we started OnSwipe itself, and I got a book deal out of it, which I finished about 2 weeks ago for production.
Oh man, you spoiled it. I was going to save that for the end of the show and ask you about the book. We'll leave that there, and we'll come back to the book.
We'll table that.
But tell us, quickly, what exactly is OnSwipe? What does the company do?
Yeah, OnSwipe is a platform for tablet publishing and advertising. We make it insanely easier for, it could be a personal blogger who's really small, or somebody like the New York Times to make their content advertising look beautiful in the tablet web browser.
And you guys have a bunch of customers at this point? The product's out there?
Yeah, so we've worked with people like Slate and Ziff Davis and New York Times and Break Media and a bunch of others, just to help make content and advertising look great. And then we have a deal with WordPress to power 20 million of their sites as well.
So we're going to roll a little demo clip of OnSwipe. Walk us through what a user sees and how a publisher integrates it.
Okay, great. So what you're about to see is just kind of what the reader sees, right? So our belief is the tablet is the fastest growing device in consumer history, and you can do different things when it's touch enabled. So things like 2-finger swiping, 3-finger pinch to close, open an article, and it's just fluid. It feels like a native app. It feels like something that hasn't been possible before, and we let publishers do that very fast and very easily.
So the product itself, for a publisher to integrate it, what do they actually have to do? Is it a plugin or JavaScript, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they just plug in a bunch of feeds from their RSS feed, their WordPress feed, pick a design template, and then copy and paste a line of JavaScript code.
And is the product for the small blogger out there, or is it for really major publishers, or both?
Yeah, so it works with a publisher of any size. I can use it on my site. Somebody who's got an audience of 10 people can use it, but it can also be used by those with audience of millions. The real differentiator is we have advertising integrated as well. At the end of the day, our business is ad driven, so we let publishers make more money from their tablet content by better performing premium high performance ads.
So you guys were a little different coming into Techstars, Michael. I don't know if you know this. These guys actually closed $1 million seed round from Spark, right? It was from Spark.
Yes. A handful of angels.
And that was right at the beginning of Techstars. I mean, I think it closed on one of the first few days, but it was sort of obviously deeply in progress.
And a rarity for Techstars, right?
Well, I mean, we've had some companies come in with some funding, but I think $1 million in funding. I want to talk with Jason a little bit about why Techstars, but. I want to get into that, but just before I do that, I just want to give a quick shout out to SendGrid again, the sponsor of the show. They enable all of this Skype interview and studio that Lamar has. So I know, Jason, you guys use SendGrid in your product. It's a way to send email from your application and make sure it gets there on time.
Yeah, actually we got our SendGrid bill the other day, so we're happy SendGrid customers, and they just ensure great deliverability. So it's great.
And you're in that 20 billion emails that they've sent at this point. So that's our SendGrid commercial. Definitely check out SendGrid. We thank them for sponsoring the show and enabling this interview. Jason, when you came into Techstars, $1 million in funding, some people would say you're too far along. Why do you need Techstars? But I want to talk about why did you make that decision to come into the program at that stage?
Yeah, so my co-founder Andres and I had a very specific hunch that, hey, it was one that could have paid off really well, or we could have been wrong. At the end of the day, it did pay off, even better than we thought, which was, hey, Techstars is all about acceleration. It's all about moving faster, being focused, getting a lot done. So we came in and said, hey, what if we had $1 million instead of, 12 grand or 18 grand, or product a little bit farther along? If we took all the resources of Techstars and multiplied it by that, what would happen? And we found out that something great would happen. We accelerated really fast, and the great part is now Techstars, you come in and you get that extra 100 grand, which makes life easier. But a lot of people are always worried about raising money. We were fortunate enough that we didn't have to worry, hey, what happens 3 months after the heads down on product, meeting great people, and just focused on building the business and doing it faster in the Techstars environment. So it was just acceleration to a whole other level for us.
Awesome. Yeah, we're seeing more and more companies that are coming in. I mean, even SendGrid, when they came in, they had a product that was working and a little bit of revenue, but obviously not the level of funding. I know you were in the program with CrowdTwist and some others that had some seed funding, from outside coming in. So we are seeing that more and more. And I think it was Andy Weissman that jumped on stage, introduced you at Demo Day, and sort of said, we weren't sure about this Techstars thing for this company, but it really worked out.
Yeah, I mean, he said it right on stage. Because he said to us, I don't know if you guys need it, blah, blah, blah. We said, we have a hunch, here's the reasons why, the ones I just told you. I'm like, hey, at the end of the day, it comes out of the common pool, you still own what you own. We're really betting with our equity and our belief in Techstars, and we did it, and it worked out. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
So I know that the application of Techstars, was pretty similar. You guys were already working on pretty much what you do now, but tell us a little bit about, what's changed from that original application video, which we have a clip of, and we'll show while you talk about it.
Yeah, so here's essentially our belief, right? Magazines are beautiful, they're engaging. Pick up Vogue, pick up Wired. The content is beautiful, the advertising is equally as beautiful. That just wasn't possible before, right? Up until 9 months ago, before the iPad and tablets, it wasn't possible. And that'll trickle down to the other touch-enabled devices. So our belief is it's all about HTML5 in the web, not a bunch of native apps, too expensive, too much time for publishers, right? Second is it's all about taking a magazine-like design experience, right? Traditional print world, but bringing that with the best of web, mobile, social, and local. And that's why we want to do New York, because that's where all this stuff lives, right? That's where the DNA to do this best is, not here in San Francisco or anywhere else that's in New York, right? So if you combine those two, we can help publishers make their content beautiful and engaging, just like a magazine, all right? Very effortless. And if we can do it to content, we can certainly do it to advertising as well. We want to make the web absolutely beautiful and more engaging on touch-enabled devices in the browser.
Yeah, I mean, when people apply to Techstars, often they just throw a little video in the application. It helps us. But really, I guess the question, Jason, for you is, since applying to Techstars to today, what do you view as the major changes or learnings that you've had?
I think, what we realized is this is less about the publishing, and we do that really well. People love making their stuff look great on tablets, but our real business is advertising, more so than we ever thought. We never wanted to be a charge for your software tools type of company, but we found that, hey, advertisers and brands want two things. They want to be on the iPad, but they want it at scale, which the web gives them and we can enable them to do. They want to be able to do it fast and easy in a beautiful way. And we can get the campaign up for them in under 2 minutes, right? So we've really found that our business exists and it's been driven forward due to the advertising technology we've built in. So it's kind of this intersection of content and advertising.
So I have a technical question. So you mentioned that your app is powered by the RSS feeds. What happens when you run into an article that's not in the RSS feed? So you have a link from Google to an old article that's not in the RSS feed. How do you manage that?
So it's something we call Fetch Now, which deals with two different aspects. What if the refresh time on RSS is 15 minutes and Gaddafi gets killed or whatever,
or whatever.
I don't know the best way to phrase that. Well, in that 5-minute period, somebody's going to tweet it out, and that's going to put it into the index. That's breaking news. But what about evergreen content that's 10 years old, like you mentioned? We'll fetch that on the fly.
So, okay. so some people, Jason, put you on the spot a little bit. I've seen some tweets going around. Some people come to a website and they expect that native experience, but then they get the OnSwipe experience. Is there an easy way to change back and forth, or what have you learned about how people have reacted to the product in that sense?
Yeah, we definitely see that. I think some people just expect the normal web, or they just don't fully expect that, hey, this can do what an app does, and it's different to some people. So they can go to the normal site. They can completely do that if they want. And let's say even if it's just for an article, then they can come back to the OnSwipe experience, so they're fully able to do that.
I love it. I mean, it feels like a magazine, and the ads and the videos that are integrated just I don't know.
They work well.
It's like another level of cool UI. Yeah. I think that's why publishers like it. But also, as you mentioned, the ad unit, I think, coming into Techstars, I remember working with you guys, it's just 100% focused on creating a product that people would love. Yeah. And not so much focused on, how you're going to make money on day one. And I think that's a common question. What drove you to focus earlier on sort of the advertising model and building up that revenue model, even though you have, $5 million plus in funding?
Yeah, I think it's, not even so much about the revenue right now. I think it's about, that's a great, it's a way to tell the story. What is a value prop when you go to somebody, right? Like, what lets you acquire somebody to be using the platform and to be in bed with us? And, publishers care about two things, right? Take away all the cool and all that stuff. They care about money and they care about traffic. And traffic usually ends up being more money. We let them make more money with beautiful advertising. We let them get more traffic because the experience is more engaging. At the end of the day, what is it like? Wu-Tang said, cream cash rules everything around me. We found we had a way to help them make money on this tablet device, and that drives conversation. So therefore, we double down on that.
So I feel like I remember that from a certain TV show that I watched. You had a meeting at AOL. And I think that was the subject, right? This is what publishers care about. I wonder, how did that come through? I mean, did those guys end up helping you out? Did you ever get an AOL property to play with?
AOL's taken a little bit longer than we would like.
Yeah. Shocking. Shocking.
Properties we're working towards. I think it's just, they've integrated with the Huffington Post, so that's
right. So distraction.
Yeah, I mean, so on demo day, I mentioned that you had raised $5 million. It's like a 6 in total now is what you're at. Who are the new investors? Talk about the process, post demo day of closing that larger round, because it's never easy to do a big round like that.
Yeah. So, we did what some might refer to as an inside round, that we did bring on some new investors, which was, we realized things were accelerating, we were in a bigger market than we thought, things could work well. So what we did was we said, hey, instead of running a process in the West Coast and trying to get some insane, crazy valuation, we said, let's find something fair. This is accelerating. How much money do we need? So we said, well, to hire these people to do this, literally our hiring plan is still going based upon that. We need to raise, $5 million to do that. We still have, 500 of it left in the bank from the first rate, stuff like that, right? We took it mostly from Spark again, but we added in Lightbank, Yuri Milner, and Lara Ventures came in as well.
Yep.
So it was basically just very faster and more straightforward process than a traditional A round where people go out and run a process and do that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's wisdom in that. We run into a lot of entrepreneurs who have raised a little bit of seed money and then they go to raise a larger round and they spend 6 months or a year on it when they really have investors that maybe are willing to do something, maybe not as high of a valuation. So you sort of trade off a little bit there,
yeah.
But you have people that you know are going to be supportive, that have been there from the beginning. It's sort of quicker and easier. You don't turn into a professional fundraising company.
They like what they've gotten so far. Yeah. It's just a good relationship all the way around. Yeah.
So I think you taking that route is smart, I think.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the TV show. You guys were the subject, one of the subjects on the Bloomberg series, of course. And we always talk about it's like less than 1% of what actually happened. What were your impressions of being on the show? Was it ultimately, do you feel like it sort of portrayed you correctly, or do you feel like it was helpful, or what?
So I think there was an amplification of stereotypes or personas of people, right? So it's like, Reese is definitely an athlete, right?
Of course he is.
I mean, he's an athlete, and it's kind of really playing the personalities right. It's like a game of badminton, right? Where it's like you've got the shuttlecock, and you've got to go back and forth, and there were only 6 people on the show outside of the total 11. You look at Melanie, right? Like, there were certain things where they amplified her. There were points where I was amplified as a pure asshole. There was parts where Reese was amplified as an athlete. There's certain nuggets of truth, right? I have a certain aggressive edge to me. Melanie is a very aggressive fashion-based entrepreneur, and Reese is definitely an athlete. I think those got amplified because it was TV. I think, when we agreed to do the show, I said, listen, if this makes one more person start a company, I'm okay with it, right? And that means I did my job. I think what I wish that was done more was kind of showing the real struggles and the hardships of, you're there at 2 in the morning, what the difficulties are, really digging in deeper, and I think you would have had more time there.
The audience,
the stuff we go through, it usually happens. Or on a phone, and or in meetings, which just can't be shot for TV because they're so personal and confidential. So, I think there's just the nature of the show, things that couldn't be captured, though I wish people. Listen, I guess the best way to experience the hardship of entrepreneurship is dive right in.
That's right. Well, I said this last week on the show, but I think for all of you that sort of put yourself on the line and allowed the world to see, what this difficult process is like, you guys should receive a huge thanks from everyone, because I think, there were a lot of difficult things on the show, but there were a lot of exciting things on the show. And as you said, if it makes one more person become an entrepreneur, or if it makes one more person step up and be a mentor to an up-and-coming entrepreneur, then that's a win. And I've heard from all over the world that people have been inspired by it. So that was really the goal.
Yeah, I've seen it personally. People inspired by the show to go do something. So totally.
Yeah, that's that's what I hope for. Could more entrepreneurship and inspired and such? Probably, but I think we did a good job.
Yeah, and I don't think they were going for asshole with you. I think they were going for arrogant with you. And I can
it tapered off though, right?
It tapered off, right? And you can see in this interview, right? You don't detect even an ounce of that. Although you are maybe a little bit confident, a little bit. I think that's fair.
He's
right?
like, what?
No, you don't think so? So Jason, I want to. So thanks again for being on the show, and I want to just leave. I want to ask you one more question about this book that you mentioned earlier. What is this book? I read about it on your personal site, but you don't give too many details. It seems like a secret.
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to send you the final, the copy that's going to production, because I need blurbs on it. So actually, that's one email I need to send you. But the basic gist is, how do you go from absolutely nothing to something with zero cloud or zero capital? It's really kind of the lessons learned of OnSwipe was originally the idea of just a little WordPress plugin, right? But it was something we were passionate about, and how do we come and start this idea? And then we started the idea, how do we build an MVP, right? Okay, how do you get the MVP out? How do you get traction, right? Now that you've got traction, how do you hire more people? How do you get more press? Great, the press tapers off, so you need a customer acquisition strategy. How do you get more customers, and how do you raise more money to accelerate that? It's the book that I wish I had 5 years ago when I got started. The stuff that, is really soup to nuts, like, what do you need to know, right? No methodology, is just pure, straight strategy, go to market, here's how you do it type of stuff. And it's the book I wish I had 5 years ago.
What's the title of the book and the publisher of the book?
I don't know if I...
Top secret? Okay, top secret. What's your personal website where people can come learn more?
JasonLBaptiste.com.
Okay,
and will there be an audio version? Because that's what I would listen to.
Oh, on Callisto.
Only if you narrate it. I think, didn't we already negotiate these?
That's a deal. I'm in.
The publisher is Penguin and Portfolio, so they did, Art of the Start, all of Seth Godin's books, the co-founder of Microsoft's biographies. So it's pretty honored to be there. It was like goal of mine somehow. I don't know, somehow somebody made a mistake of giving me a book deal. It's not humble.
Sounds like a great idea.
It sounds like great content.
Awesome.
I mean, to hear practical tips from an entrepreneur who's been there and done it is awesome. And so we'll look forward to the book. You can also follow Jason at Jason L. Baptiste on Twitter. And I want to just thanks again for being on the show, Jason. We're gonna leave folks at the end of this show with your demo day pitch, where you go for the series Awesome. So that'll be coming up in a few minutes, and hopefully it'll be a good nostalgia for everyone. Thanks again, Jason, for talking with us today.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Always awesome to have Jason around. He's a ton of fun. So we thank him for the interview. I'm joined here now in studio. We've replaced Michael with Claire Tischer, who is the social media manager at Techstars. You're in your, third week?
Week 3.
Week 3. So you're helping out with the Twitters and the Facebook and those kind of things. I already noticed we're much more responsive because you're just all over it, even when I'm on a plane or traveling. So thanks for being part of the team.
Honored.
Yeah, we want to talk a little bit about some of the things we've learned. I know one of the things you did right away is sort of cut back on some of the random Twitter accounts we had. Do you want to talk about why you did that?
Sure. We had a separate Twitter account for This Week in Techstars, and it just seemed like it was another place to build out and tell people about, and rather than manage several locations, just have the brand be really uniform and central, reach more people.
Yeah,
Less is more.
So people who are building out their own social media strategy, one of the recommendations you would have is just keep it simple and
don't do more than 2 or 3 Twitter accounts.
Be consistent.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
You know, there's a company who's really good at social media and has an awesome product. It's called Twilio. Have you heard of this company?
I have.
Really?
Cloud communications.
Wow. I'm impressed. You're brand new. You already know about this.
They're great. They have so many different features. They have a search interface where you can buy phone numbers. You can broadcast voice messages, transcribe your voicemails. You can moderate conference calls.
You build apps that communicate. So if you're a developer
they have something for everyone.
You want to check out Twilio.com. It's an API to build apps that communicate. They are a big sponsor of This Week in Techstars. I am amazed that you know about this company.
They're great.
They're not even a Techstars company. How do you? Did you do some research before the show?
Homework. Maybe not.
You've seen the past shows.
I know of them. They're great.
Jeff Lawson. I'm actually an investor in the company personally. They've grown really quickly, and developers really love them. They're out in San Francisco, always hiring. So we thank them for being a sponsor and enabling these kind of interviews that we've had. Claire, welcome to the team. Just wanted to introduce you so people would know when they get a response on Twitter who that might be.
It's me.
Behind the tweet deck, so to speak. We want to leave people, as we always do, with Jason's pitch so that you get sort of full circle. You've seen Jason in the interview. We'll show you his demo day pitch where he raised his Series Awesome, ended up raising $5 million after this pitch. So check it out. Hopefully it's helpful. It's right after this, and we'll see you next time on This Week in Techstars.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy. I'm here to introduce OnSwipe. I met Andres and Jason well before they were OnSwipe, before they'd even started the pad pressed, which became OnSwipe. And through the course of getting to know them, last winter, BetaWorks was selected by them to participate in their seed round. And we felt very fortunate and lucky. As any self-respecting investor does, the first thing I did was to give them some advice. The first piece of advice I gave them was that I didn't think they should apply and join the Techstars program. I said to them, they've got a product, a great vision, distribution, and a wonderful investor syndicate. What could Techstars add to that? Jason and Andres looked at me, and they smiled, and they went back to their laptops and worked. I probably gave them that advice again a couple days later, and they smiled and looked at me and went back to their laptops and went back to work. They applied to Techstars, they got in, they moved to New York. Fast forward to today, 4 months later, and I'm here to confess that not only was I wrong, I was utterly and completely wrong. The Techstars program enabled 2 entrepreneurs from Miami to immediately have a community of mentors, advisors, investors, technologists, hackers, wannabes from day one. And it enabled these 2 entrepreneurs from Miami to mature, and I think right now you're about to see that they've become business people, and that's invaluable to them. OnSwipe.
Andy, I am very happy that I proved you wrong on that one. Good morning, everybody. We have some great stuff to show you today. I'm Jason Baptiste, CEO of OnSwipe. I'm about to say what the entire publishing and media industry wants to say, and that's that apps are bullshit. They're way too expensive, costing tens of thousands of dollars. They're a fragmented experience across devices, maybe great on iPad, okay on Android, and non-existent everywhere else. And worst of all, publishers lose control. Control of their business model, their experience, the ability to get traffic from search and share. But for some reason, these apps provide a great design, a design that is reminiscent of print, typography, and beauty and imagery. So we came up with a simple idea. What if we could make it insanely easy for a publisher of any size to make their current website look beautiful and app-like on the tablet and iPhone and all their mobile devices? And with this simple idea comes a massive business model. In this touch-enabled world, publishers won't be able to monetize with ugly text link ads or obtrusive ads, but beautiful and magazine-like full-page ads. And for the first time ever, I'm very happy to show you OnSwipe. What you're about to see is a website. It's on the web. It is not an app. So this is a demo site that we set up called apphint.com that I can browse to on iPad. I just tap go, and I'm greeted with a beautiful cover image that I can just take with my finger, and it's fluid, and I can just swipe it open, and I'm greeted to the contents of this publication. And you can see all the different sources, maybe all the articles from a publisher, or social media sources, like Instagram, that a publisher has taken. Or maybe they have videos from YouTube and Vimeo that you can view right there on the site. But let's go back to the category and check out an article. But first, I want to show you that if you rotate any OnSwipe-enabled site, it knows what orientation it's in. It moves with you. So let's go check that article out. As you're reading, it's just the most beautiful and fluid reading experience ever. You can just swipe through with your finger, and maybe in between, get an ad that you enjoy, with things built in like geolocation, so you can see places nearby related to that ad, or the ability to share the ad itself, or view an actual video associated with that creative. I mean, you just tap it and it goes and you watch, and when you're done, you can just go right back to reading, swipe away, you're back in the content. Now I want to show you the social features baked into every single OnSwipe article and publisher instantly, such as discovery mode, powered by our friends over at Bitly. You just tap the rocket ship and it shows related articles that we algorithmically produce. You read it, you check it out, you're still within the publication, which is publisher friendly, and when you're done, you just tap it and it goes away. Now I want to show you our one more thing, and that's my OnSwipe, the ability to read an article anytime, anywhere, on any device. So I'll go to my OnSwipe, which is a central reading queue of all the articles that I've saved for later. And it's Facebook Connect enabled, so it's not only what I'm reading on any device, but what my friends are reading as well. So I can go in, and the great thing is it's publisher friendly. It keeps their logo, their attribution link, all their different colors, and I can go in and read, but maybe I want to see what my friends are saving for later. So I just go in, I tap, I check it out, that's the reading stream, and the cool part is it can be on a device, and it's magical because it's like having the internet without any internet. You can use the browser and not be online. So how do you get all this? What you just saw, any publisher can do in under 3 minutes. You just connect a CMS, maybe WordPress or Tumblr or Drupal, or even a custom homegrown one, tap in the URL and some login details, which we're going to hide here so you don't see the password, and you're greeted with all the different designs. And this is a preview of thousands of permutations that are about to come. They're just beautiful and breathtaking. Copy, paste, done. In under 3 minutes, a publisher is ready to be touch-enabled on any site. So this has gotten a lot of people excited. The press has been raving about us for months, and they haven't even seen what we've done until just now. And we even got just an all-star syndicate of investors back in January for our seed round. And with that, we've been able to hire the best team possible to do this. We have somebody up there who has a master's in multi-touch interfaces. I didn't even know you could get a degree in that, but you can, and they're here with us at OnSwipe. And our friends at WordPress and Automatic a few weeks back asked us to power all of their tablet traffic. That's 18.6 million sites. That means we know how to do this stuff at Facebook level scale. So that's the start. What's next for OnSwipe? Well, the question everybody always asks is, when are you launching? We're launching in under 90 days. That means this spring. What you just saw is a real demo, and we're working hard every day on practically no sleep. And in closing, I want to take a minute to talk about the big opportunity, the once-in-a-generation opportunity that we have at OnSwipe. We sit in between two huge shifts, the shift in the media industry from print to digital, and the shift in the entire computing industry for the first time from point and click to touch-enabled devices. We get a chance to change everything. We get a chance to rewrite all the rules.